I'm not the chosen friend. I am the useful friend. And if I stopped showing up, half these people would never notice. Midlife has a way of exposing the politics inside our friendships. Who gets picked first? Who gets called to fix everything? Who gets left on read when they need support? By midlife, most of us have lived several versions of ourselves. The college friend version, the new mom version, the holding everything together version, the I'm not doing this anymore version. But our friendships, they often stay glued to an old draft of who we used to be. And then one day you look around and realize you're the one who remembers birthdays. You're the one who checks on everybody. You're the one who gets the 2 a.m. crisis calls. But when you are not okay, there's a strange silence. That's not just how life is. That's politics. That's power. That's an economy of energy, attention, and access. Most women know what it feels like to be the strong friend. You're the unofficial therapist. You are the emotional search engine of the group. Often, that role is not a compliment, because in some circles, your value is quietly defined by what you do for everyone else. You give perspective, you give rides, you give time, you give money, you give grace. Until one day, you pause and ask, if I stop doing all of this, would there still be a friendship here? That's a painful question, but it's an important one. There's also a deeper layer. Some of us were raised to believe that being constantly needed is the same as being deeply loved. So we overfunction. We rescue, we fix, we explain, we soften the blow of everyone else's chaos. And then when we try to pull back and rest, we notice something. Some people stop calling, not because they're busy, because without your labor, the relationship doesn't feel worth it. There's a difference between someone loving you and someone loving access to you. You can feel it when they call, when they need your skills, your contacts, can you look over this real quick? They want your brain, your network, your emotional steadiness, but they never really ask, how are you? Really? And then hold the answer. You start to feel like the plug, the connector, the helper, the can you pray for me, coach me, pep talk me, friend, instead of a human being who also needs care. You might even notice social climate inside your circle. Suddenly, the friend with the bigger platform or higher income becomes the main character. Invitations get strategic. You see who gets posted, who gets tagged, who gets front row access. And if your life doesn't look shiny right now, if you're in a season of caregiving, illness, divorce, unemployment, your presence becomes less convenient. This is the politics of midlife friendship that no one talks about. Who's considered an asset? Who's considered too heavy? Who gets upgraded to bestie status when it looks good on Instagram? And who stays behind the scenes doing invisible emotional labor? If any part of you has ever felt, I'm good enough to help, but not good enough to be held, I want you to know that feeling is valid. You are not imagining the imbalance. Midlife brings gaps, success gaps, health gaps, energy gaps, spiritual gaps. One friend's life starts to accelerate, career taking off, kids leaving the nest, creativity returning, therapy working, boundaries getting stronger, while another friend feels stuck. The same arguments at home, the same financial stress, the same unresolved pain. And instead of saying, I'm hurting and I don't know how to sit with your joy, jealousy sneaks in sideways. It shows up as sarcasm, minimizing your wins, saying, must be nice. To be you. disappearing during your good seasons and only resurfacing when you're struggling again. Subtle attempts to pull you back into roles you've outgrown. On the flip side, when you're the one in the hard season, divorce, loss, financial strain, illness, you might notice a different punishment. People who only know how to love your put-together self don't quite know what to do with your undone self. They don't know what to say, so they say nothing. They don't know how to show up, so they don't. That silence can hurt more than an argument. Midlife exposes something. Some friendships were built around similar circumstances, not mutual commitment. And when the circumstances change, the bond gets tested. Do we actually love each other? Or did we just love seeing our reflections in each other's lives? That doesn't mean everybody who grows distant is a villain. Sometimes people are just maxed out and limited. But it does mean you're allowed to name it when you feel punished for evolving or punished for falling apart. For a lot of women, midlife is the first time they choose themselves over the expectations of a faith community. And the consequences can feel like social exile. Maybe you left a church, changed denominations, stopped volunteering 24/7, started asking harder questions about gender, justice, or doctrine. Suddenly, you're not as safe for certain people. You might be labeled negative, rebellious, backsliding, too much in her feelings, or maybe you got divorced in a community where that was frowned upon, started supporting your queer child, decided you're done with being the quiet, accommodating version of yourself. And you noticed the group chats got quieter. The invitations slowed down. The prayer requests stopped, including your name. What hurts the most isn't always losing the belief system. It's losing the people who you thought would love you through any chapter. Friendships that were welded together by shared religion or shared community roles don't always know how to exist once you step outside the old script. And you are not difficult for needing your friendships to make room for your growth. You're just no longer willing to shrink to keep access. This is why so many women feel safer online than in their real life circles. It can feel confusing. You have people who know your address, your kids, your whole history, and yet you feel more emotionally held by a creator you've never met or a group chat of women scattered across the globe. Online, you can lead with your truth, not your role. You're not the mom, the wife, the church worker, the helper. You're just you, a human being typing into a box. There's psychological safety in distance. When someone online validates you, they're not doing it because they need you to watch their kids, volunteer, or keep a family secret. They don't benefit from your silence. Algorithms accidentally create intimacy. You keep seeing videos and posts from people who speak directly to the things you weren't allowed to say out loud. Perimenopause rage, caregiver burnout, faith shifts, body changes, loneliness in marriage, regret, relief, desire. Meanwhile, the people in your real life circle might still be stuck in we don't talk about that mode. So you start to emotionally relocate. Your body is present in your city, but your heart feels most seen in a comment section. That's not because you're addicted to your phone. It's because you're starving for spaces where you don't have to edit your existence. Online communities can be beautiful and life-saving, but they're not meant to replace every real life bond. The goal is not to choose between them, but to let both realms teach you where you feel safe and where you don't. So, what do you actually do with all this? This is not a cut everybody off message. This is a renegotiate the terms message. A few questions you can sit with after this video. If I stopped overfunctioning, which friendships would survive? Who has shown up for me without needing a front row seat to my life? Where am I still accepting being used because I'm afraid of being forgotten? Which relationships actually feel like a mutual choosing, not just a mutual history? From there, you can start to pull your energy back from connections that only see you as a resource. Set softer boundaries with people who only come around in crisis. Lean intentionally into the friendships, online or offline, where you can tell the truth and still be loved. Make room for new people, even in midlife, who meet you where you are now, not where you were 10 years ago. You are not too old to find better friendships. You're just too aware to keep pretending half friendships are enough. Midlife is not just about losing people. It's also about finally seeing clearly who was never really holding you in the first place. If this stirred something in you, you're not alone. In the comments, if you feel comfortable, share this. Have you ever felt chosen, used, or forgotten in your friendships? And what's one boundary or shift you're making in this season? Your friendships are allowed to evolve as you do. You deserve to be more than useful. You deserve to be chosen. This is part 4 of our end of the year Midlife series. You can catch up with the first 3 videos in the link in the description. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next one.
Told you took my breath away.